quite a heavyweight, not literally, figuratively. She is Zubeida Jaffer, award-winning South African journalist, author, and activist. And for the longest time that I can remember, I've been wanting to host this amazing woman, and it's just never happened up until today. So it gives me great pleasure to welcome to the program award-winning South African journalist, author, and activist, Zubeida Jaffer. Salaam alaikum, welcome to the program, and what a privilege it is to be talking with you today.
Alaikum salam, Julie. It's wonderful to be here with you. Really, it is.
Thank you indeed. Thank you for honoring us with this interview. There's so much to talk to you about, your books, your career, what it has spanned, your awards. Obviously, the purpose of this interview is your latest book. But before we get there, when I talk to women of your stature, it is so important to discuss your life's journey because it gives our young people, our future leaders, the motivation and the inspiration to take up their rightful place in community and society. So how did your journey start? I know you studied in the Western Cape. You went on to become an award-winning journalist. But what drove you in that direction?
Well, Julie, it was actually my dad who said to me when I was standard 9, today's grade 11, that I should be a journalist.
Right.
And at that stage, I just seemed not to have the confidence to even consider this. And so I didn't follow his advice, but then went on to UCT to do a BA degree. And at the beginning of the second year, by then I decided I wanted to be a psychologist. And by the beginning of the second year, my dad suggested to me to write to local companies to get a holiday job, because I always worked in the community at shops locally, but he suggested I step out now. And so I wrote 7 letters, and only one company responded, and that was the Argus company.
Oh, wow.
And I ended up going.
It was written in the stars that this is going to be your destiny.
It was serendipitous. It was pure. I mean, as I say, I didn't choose journalism. Journalism chose me.
Chose you.
Yes,
absolutely. Yes. Just to go back, is your father still alive today?
No. My father died 20 years ago. He was 80, but my mom is still alive. She's 94.
Alhamdulillah, may she enjoy continued good health. But he did see you graduating, and he did see his dream for you being realized. Why do you think he wanted you to be a journalist? And back in the day, obviously, there weren't very many Black journalists or Muslim journalists for that matter.
My father was very committed to education. He was an unusual man. I always say he was an extraordinary, ordinary man. He did his bit in terms of, community. He was on every school board and was committed to Islamic education and secular education. And so that's what we were the beneficiaries of that. I'm not quite sure why he wanted me to do journalism. I think it was probably because he felt I was good at languages and, because I wrote well. And, but yes, alhamdulillah, he saw me through. He saw how far I'd come. And he was very, very proud. And what he and my mom did for me is that, this was 1980. There weren't Muslim women hardly in. I think it was Jubi Mayat. I don't know if there was anybody else who was in the media. And when I went into the media, there were people who came to my family and said, this is not something a Muslim girl should do. Ooh. They said that, it's not right. And then 6 months later, I was detained and tortured. And then, the voices were even louder. Now they were justified because, you sent your daughter into this situation and look what's happened to her. And my parents were absolutely amazing. They never once flinched. They never once, because they wanted me to do this,
Right,
and I
right.
say Alhamdulillah, because I mean, it's 40 years later, but today I'm just amazed to see all the women. I mean, see you there, see so many women,
Alhamdulillah. Yes.
and I'm so delighted. I'm so delighted.
That's the reason why we do have you here. And as you know, coincidentally, we're going to be discussing the book, which is on you accolading an amazing woman, Charlotte Mannya Maxeke. And there's a hospital named in her honor in Johannesburg, and it's burning down. It started burning 2 days ago. And I just thought it was so sad. And perhaps, maybe not, I think perhaps when Anya was doing the interview with you, drove me to research a little bit about this absolutely amazing woman. Uh, why did you choose? And I know I asked you one or two questions which I've not allowed you to respond to, but just let me get this question in. Why did you choose this woman of all other equally dynamic, powerful, and strong women through our history? Why did you choose her to write about?
It's a very strange story. I didn't, I don't want to keep on saying, it just came upon me, but it is how life unfolded. I was on the campus of the University of the Free State, and I saw a poster about a memorial lecture on Mum Charlotte. And this was probably 2013, I think. And I was with Professor Jonathan Jansen, and then I asked him about this woman because I didn't know anything much more than the fact that there was a hospital named after her. And then he said to me that there's an office on the campus that is, involved in organizing the lecture. And if I wanted more information, I should go there. I went there and I was not at ease with, I thought that the information was very, very, very sort of very thin,
Scant?
yeah,
Yes.
scant. And so when I saw him again, I said that to him, there isn't really proper information. There's really very little information. And then he just turned around and he said to me, don't you want to do the research and write the book about her life? And at that very moment, I just said yes. Now I'm making an issue of it because I get approached by many, many, many people over the years to write these stories, and I always say no. I say no as a first point. I say no because once you decide to write a story, a life story, then you've got to be prepared to live with that person and try and get inside their head and try and understand and you get obsessed, and it's not a very easy journey.
Must be
And
very draining as well. You
that's
because you shed
very,
her tears, whichever persona you're
yes,
focusing on, is you
yes.
take on all their stuff, don't you?
You do, and
Mhm.
it's very emotional and very tough. And in this case, it was the most difficult book because there was nobody alive except one woman who was 106 years old that I
Oh,
found, who had met her, and I went up to Zebedelia Township in Limpopo Province and interviewed her. Stories in the book. I I wasn't able to. There was nobody else I found that had met her, and so to corroborate, to check the facts, I had to get two sources every time, and so it had to be, things that came in the newspapers, and then maybe in the church records or whatever other things I could find, or books. And so it nearly killed me, really. I mean, I must admit that it was one of the most exhausting and tough processes that I've been through. But I'm very thankful that I was able to piece together the major strands of her life. I think a lot more work has to be done, but I at least was able to put together the major strands of her life.
does she have any siblings, remaining siblings, or children or grandchildren that?
She No, she doesn't have. She has great grand nephews and nieces. And the one Tulasizwe Makanya has been amazing. He has started something called the Charlotte Maxeke Institute, which is working towards building a school in a name, and is also responsible for all the activity that's going on at the moment. So they are, the family. The family has done very well. She, as far as we know, lost her only child when he was 4 years old.
Oh,
But there's also a dispute around that. But that's the best I could establish.
Okay. All right. Let's go for an ad break. When we come back, we're going to talk some more about this amazing lady and who your target audience is for this book and how important the book is for us as South Africans.
Thank you, Julie.
Exclusive, high-end, luxurious jewellery? Or is it our master craftsmanship of all your bespoke jewellery needs? We believe it's because at Randery Jewellers, we know just how to make your special moments last forever. Whether it's for a wedding, anniversary, or just a simple gift to show your love, trust Randery Jewellers to make it special. www.randeryjewellers.com. Make your moments last forever with Randery Jewellers, the family name you can trust.
Ishmael, weren't you supposed to be in Umrah? No, man. With this new visa issues, I can't go every year. Yeah, I know. And now my wife, she on my case. She wants the Madina Kajur, Zamzam, Kawa, Dukkha. All the Suhur and Iftar stuff. I'm telling her, forget all that this year. What are you stressing about? Find everything at IG Hussein. Leave Ramadan shopping. You can also do all your Eid shopping one time. They got a wide range of Saudi and Dubai Islamic wear for the whole family. Eid gifting cannot get any easier. They have a wide range of perfumes, musallas, frames, and kiddies' educational toys, and much more. What? Are you serious? Ramadan and Eid shopping under one roof? Yeah, man. Now you can tell the wife no more excuses for not having homemade savories. Oh, what savories? More time for her ibadat, not for making savories. IG Hussein, Overport branch, open every Sunday and public holiday. IG Hussein, your Islamic lifestyle.
Give charity.
Hello? Yes. Okay, so what do you mean, in 5 minutes or? Oh, okay, all right. Okay, so should I just stay on as it is? Okay. Okay. Okay, Nasreen, bye, salam. Yeah, sure. They are having load shedding, so they're delaying. So maybe you can let that guy start, but tell him he may have to put off again. So they say maybe 10 minutes. Yeah, sure. What are you busy with? What you busy with? No, what you busy with?
Me, I was just typing there.
Okay, because the butternut in the fridge must be cut up and the beans. I'm just saying that, not urgent. I'm just saying.
Okay. I was waiting for it to finish so that I'll sweep then I'll move.
Okay.
Otherwise, I'll be making noise.
Unless you go upstairs. Is there anything upstairs?
Yes,
I think the
I can
floors
go
are quite.
upstairs.
The floors are quite not nice, eh?
But I'm gonna put the machine.
No, you can't put the machine. First have to just let's see. I first have to finish this. Have a cup of tea. Sit and have a cup of tea.
I'll just rest.
Okay. Okay. Oh. Oops, sorry. Okay, now we have to have quiet.
We're on air now. Okay. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back. And I do apologize for that very rude interruption by Eskom. What can I say?
What can we say?
Absolutely. We have about 10 minutes or a little more to this interview, and there's just so much to cover, Zubeida. I do hope you'll make yourself available for us again sometime in the future. Because of the time constraint, let's just focus on this book on Charlotte, and I'd like to have a future discussion with you about your days of activism, when you were locked up, and your other two books, where you're at now. I also know that you're about to launch number 10 publishers. So lots to cover. Let's talk about Mum Charlotte. You did say that her nephew that's played a pivotal role in trying to get the book out and as much support as he possibly can. Who is your target audience, and why is a book like this important to us as South Africans?
Julie, I think my view is that it has to be read especially by teachers, but by all. I would like to see every family having a copy of this book in their home, because what I've done, I not only tell her story, but I give the background. I mean, I tell the story. It's from 1871, and it goes right up till 1939, and it gives us a clear sense of the historical events of that time. So I would say it's not just a book for young people, it's a book for everybody, because it's a life that we need to study, but it's also
it's part of our history. It's part of our history. And I must tell you, when I read parts of the book, I was absolutely amazed, thinking, but how come we've never heard of this woman before? Yes. How come her story has not been told?
Yes. It's quite. She was written out of history. She, I think she died before the Second World War, and with the Second World War and Nazism, that ideology came to South Africa from there, from the Europeans. They brought that ideology and influenced the sector of Afrikaans. Afrikaner nationalism, and gave birth, sprouted apartheid. So, when we thought racism, or they thought they defeated Nazism in Europe, we actually got an offshoot of it.
Okay, so going back to
somebody like her and her story couldn't be part of the narrative, because blacks were supposed to be inferior.
Absolutely. And yet she achieved so much. And the beauty of it is, from the little I have read, she was actually accoladed and treated very well when she was abroad, when she was doing the type of work she did. Tell us a little bit about this amazing woman and her achievements.
What really struck me most when I was doing the research was the fact that I could find speeches, and some of them are on my website now. I could find speeches that she delivered, and I could find, and in the book you will see she's quoted when she was as young as 21 in the British press. And so that is no, simple feat for a young woman coming from, the kind of background that she did come, to attract the kind of attention, and eventually attract the attention to get people to offer her scholarship in the United States, when the choir she was part of was stranded there. So, that's just touching the tip of the story. And so I'd really like to see, I've done all this work, Julie, and if people don't read the book, and they don't buy the book, and they don't make an effort to study it, then it's almost like wasted effort, wasted
energy. Absolutely. Zubeida, let us take an ad break, and when we get back, I will give you the floor uninterrupted for the next 10 minutes, inshallah.
Inshallah. I mean, This is a bit much.
Welcome back. And just a reminder that if you are interested in getting the book, which you should do, it is available on Zubeida Jaffer's website, on her online shop via her website. And we do hope that you're going to go out and get the book and read for yourself. What an amazing woman Charlotte Maxeke was back in the day. She was a woman of very many firsts, was she not, Zubeida?
Yes, she was, Julie. She was indeed. She was our first female graduate. She got a BSc degree in the US at university. That was for the first university for free slaves, called Wilberforce University. She was taught by W.E.B. Du Bois, who was, one of the leading intellectuals, Pan-African intellectuals of the 20th century. So that's what she did, and then she led many of the sort of major women's movements right until the time of her death. She started the Bantu Women's League, which eventually, after her death, became the ANC Women's League, and she was involved in many organizations. She was also the person who challenged patriarchy, and who as early as 1902, just after she came back from the US, she went, while on her way to her father's village in Limpopo province, Ramagopa village, she stopped in Queenstown at a place called Lessiton, which was a mission station. And there was the first, I don't know if it was the first, but it was a conference of the early intellectuals and people trying to lay the basis for the ANC. And she asked that she as a woman be allowed to participate. And they formed a committee and they said they will discuss it. They formed the committee, decided no women allowed, and they excluded her. And fortunately for her, Sal Plaatje, who was a journalist at that time, took up this matter very strongly. And I carry the piece in the book, and he doesn't spare those men. He says there were 40 men. He doesn't give them an inch. And he says that she matches, one Charlotte Maxeke matches all 40 of them. And so by the time it was 18 years later, no, it was 10 years later, she became the only woman present at the launch of the ANC. And I don't believe she was necessarily invited. I think she just plonked herself down. And there she was.
Good on her. I know that she attended lots of suffragette speeches. I know she was also, she set up one of the first employment agencies for Africans in Johannesburg. But I think your book is so rich with all of her firsts and the amazing achievements of this woman that we urge people to go out and buy the book. It is available on your online shop via your website, and they can just go to your website and then get the book. Where to from here for you? This is your third book. I know you were very active back in the day. Is there still reason to be active now? What would your cause be?
I'm very interested in what I'm working on at the moment is I feel that the country needs a new national narrative. I feel that we cannot start our story in 1652. We cannot define ourselves in terms of colonialism. I think that we've got to go back and we've got to decide where will our story start. Now, will it start in 1,000 years ago with Mapungubwe, which was a magnificent town in the north on our northern borders? Or do we go as far back as 200,000 years ago with the Kalahari, with the San and the Bushmen, who have now been, considered to be the most successful human formations because of the length of their survival. And there are books and there's studies being done on their resilience. So where are we going to start our story? And then what are our children going to grow up with? We certainly cannot be growing up with Jan van der Riebeeck, because you don't know if you're aware, but he was only in South Africa for 8 years. And yet we all, repeat his name, and we all know about the arrival of Jan van der Riebeeck. And it's not our story. That is a story. That's the Dutch story. We're not going to exclude the story, but we have to have our story. And that's what I'm, committed to in the coming months.
We look forward to that. We look forward to, I know, I understand that you have a very, very tight schedule, but you are someone that I would like to talk to from time to time, because I do believe you have so much to share with the country, with our nation, with our community. Let us kind of understand what's going out in the wider world. And you're one of those people who'd be able to share that with us. I thank you indeed. I do apologize for the power failure. I do wish I had more time for you, but I do hope we can hook up again. But just very quickly, have you launched your publishing house yet?
Yes, I have. It's Number 10 Publishers. So you can also find my shop through Number 10 Publishers. And we're very excited because for the first time I've taken ownership of all my books. And so it's no longer with different publishers. And I think that it's very important for me, because I realize that otherwise my creative work will not benefit my daughter or those immediately around her. It will lie somewhere else, as it has been doing for the past number of years. So
Zubeida
it's very
Jaffer,
exciting.
thank you indeed. I'm so sorry that our time was stolen from us, but we will talk to you again sometime soon. I do believe you have so much to share with us, and I'd really like to pick your brain. Thank you indeed. Have a wonderful rest of Ramadan, and assalamu alaikum to you.
Alaikum salam, Julie. Thank you. It's a pleasure. I will find time to be with you. It is
wonderful.
Delightful speaking to you.
I look forward to that, and Ashraf Garda sends lots of regards as well.
Oh gosh, we won Hajj together.
Yes.
That's another story.
Right.
Okay.
Go well, and salaam alaikum. And that brings us to the end of the show. Thank you indeed for being a part of the conversation today. I am so pleased to inform you that this program has been brought to you by Al Baraka Bank, your partner bank, and that's where we have to leave it. Jazakallah, and all the best for the rest of Ramadan. Till the next time, as always, assalamu alaikum and khuda hafiz from me, Julie Ali.